Yeah, not even a full day. Good point. Hear me now, y'all. What percentage are ending up in failure? And growing. Not quite 60, but and growing. And we are spending 9 months to plan one day that yields this result. And yet, we will not take one day to plan our life. Think about it. We will not take one day to plan our life. When was the last time you or anybody you know took a day away? No phones, no tech, no kids. One day to plan your life. Said another way, one day to plot your freedom. One day. Nope, we don't do that. Why? Because we stay put. Because if you can't convince a man that he is free, he will never attempt an escape. But we do the heck out of our weddings. It's crazy. People are broke, and she will spend $9,000 on a wedding dress. I mean, broke. $9,000 on a wedding dress. Ladies, let's talk about what you had to get right. Did y'all go to the grocery store and be like, I'll take that cake? Is that what you did? No, you got to get the right kind of cake, right? So let's do this real quick. We got to hurry now. Cake, what are the details that you plan for 9 months on average? Say again? Food. Battery. What else? Vows. Keep going. I'm not going to write them down. What? Venue, flowers, menu, flowers, music, place settings, alcohol, music, photography, band, DJ, a ring, transportation, the honeymoon, the talks. How about the invitations? Did you have to get the font just right? You got to get that font right. You can't just be using any kind of font for your wedding. I mean, come on, you got a 40% chance of success here. You got to get the font right. Okay. You got to get the font right. How about the envelopes? I know women had to get a cotton envelope. I mean, it looks like paper, but it's made out of cotton. What else, y'all? Oh. I can put it up here. Oh, okay. Okay, pictures, photographers, okay, on and on and on and on and on and on and on. And if we interviewed most of us in this room, and we're not average, the fact that you're here, you are not average. You are so far above average. It's Sunday Fun Day. Right? I mean, it's Sunday Fun Day. Most people are watching whatever they want. I don't even know what's on television right now, but they're watching it. Y'all are here. You're not average. Ladies, to what degree did you execute? So if you've been married, you made this list of everything that you wanted, and then you executed. Did you get the cake? Did you get the dress? Did you get the ring? Everything. It's like almost 100%. It's 90+% that women will say, and men, we executed almost perfectly. Now, my Aunt Teeny got drunk and fell over, and it was really embarrassing. Right? But that wasn't on the list. Everything on the list, we nailed that, man. Everybody with me? Yep. Now, if you've been married and you've been through this experience, let me tell you something. I want you to say it. Everybody, write this down. Write it in your notes. I want you to write, if you've been married and you executed, I want you to write this down. Actually, write it down anyway. Write it down. He's like, I ain't been married. That's fine. Write it down anyway. Because these other people have been married, and you're just like them. You're going to execute just like them. I am a miracle worker. You are a miracle worker. Why? Because you took something from your head and you made it manifest. Yeah. Yeah. You took something that didn't exist anywhere in the whole world, only here, and you made it manifest. It didn't exist, y'all. You figured out what kind of cake you want, and you went and you had them make the cake you wanted. Where'd that cake come from? Your mind. This is why mind freedom matters so much. In the book Think and Grow Rich, it says, first page, first sentence, first chapter, thoughts are things. And if you understand that thoughts are things and what that means, your life should never, ever be the same. And what does it mean? It means I want this kind of cake, and this kind of dress, and this kind of invitation, and you got it.
Yeah.
How? Because thoughts are things.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard the phrase, as a man thinketh? So is he. Hold on.
So is he.
As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. What do we think? So what is that phrase about? Okay? I offer you this as my amateur opinion. As a man, a human, a woman, man, woman, as a human thinks and feels, so shall he or she have. Okay? As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. In other words, that which we think about and feel about comes about. Okay? Like my kids, I tell my kids, we create right here. Right here. I tell my kids, line it up, line it up. They get out of line, line it up. They're like, oh, dude. Because we create our lives with our thoughts, our words, and our feelings. Right? So keep those things congruent. If you don't want it, love it, or need it, then don't speak it, feel it, or think it.
Wow.
You did? If you don't want it, need it, or love it, don't speak it, think it, or feel it. Why would you speak, think, or feel something you don't want? By the Word where the world's created. Life force, thought, feeling, words, life force. So you are a miracle worker. You've never been married? You are a miracle worker. You get it? You can literally think of it like right now, you could figure out whatever kind of drink you want and go and get that drink. Okay? Or make your own. That's a miracle. You created, you went and got something in your hand that right now we can't even see. Y'all with me? You're a miracle worker. So here's the thing. If you've ever been married and you executed accurately, you can have anything you want. Why? Because you know how to do it. How do you know? Because you already did it. How does that make you feel?
Awesome.
That should make you feel so awesome and powerful and limitless. You already did it, y'all. You know how to create. You are a powerful manifester and a powerful creator. So now the question is, what do you want? We know the texture of the envelope, but not the texture of our life. That's stupid.
Wow.
How do you want your life to feel in a year from now? We know about cotton envelopes. I really like calligraphy. Well, what kind of font do you want for your life? Great, it went on an invitation that went in the trash. Congratulations, you got the right font for the garbage. That's stupid. They all threw it away, they didn't hang on to that. Your mama hung on to it, everybody else threw it away. You're all worried about the font. Diamonds are forever. That's called mass conditioning. Diamonds are stones. They are not precious. They are abundant in supply. They constrict the supply so that sheep pay 100 times what they're worth. That was a bonus. That wasn't in my script. Now let's get out of the mud. Everybody ready? Yeah. Jim Rome, the world travel, the time freedom, the money freedom, the health freedom, the emotional freedom. We don't have the unconditional love. This is lifestyle. Okay? So as I do these seminars, I ask the question, how many of you have the ultimate lifestyle? The ultimate lifestyle, typically 0 hands go up. If 1 hand goes up, it's somebody that didn't understand the question. Most of us don't have the additional lifestyle we want, myself included. Most of the other $1 million earners included have a really wonderful life, love my life, not complaining, but there are many, 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 many other things that I would love to experience, see, do, have, become, and accomplish in my life. So none of us have a lifestyle. So Jim Rohn taught that success is a refined study of the obvious. In other words, if you want to be successful, study the obvious. Well, if you don't have the lifestyle that you want, isn't the obvious to ask the question, why not? Pretty basic, yeah. I don't have the lifestyle I want. Why not? Well, here's the answer I offer for your consideration. I offer for your consideration that the answer is because you're not getting the results that you need in order to have the life. See, if I had the results, the financial results of $1 million earmarked for my yacht, now I've got the results, now I've got the lifestyle. Everybody see how that works? As it relates to living on the ocean. Now I've got the lifestyle. Well, I'm not getting the results that I want in my life. How many of you are getting all the results that you want in your health? We don't, right? All the results you want in your romance, all the results you want in your business, your legal seal business, we're not getting the results. Don't you think the next obvious question is why? Why not? Why am I not getting the results? And I offer for your consideration that you're not getting the results because you're not taking the actions. Yes? You're not getting the results because you're not taking the actions. If you took the proper actions properly, long-term, committedly, with faith and positivity, you're going to get better results. With better results, you're going to have a better lifestyle. Pretty basic stuff, yes? Yeah. So if you're not doing the actions, you've got to ask yourself the question, why am I not doing the actions? And it's because, typically, of a belief issue. Belief, paradigm, philosophy. Let me give you an idea. This is a man's world anyway. Right? Are you rejecting that idea? Good for you. That's what I mean. That's a belief. Now, if I say this is a man's world, let's say I'm a woman, and I say this is a man's world, it's not fair. Is that true or false?
False.
It's true for me.
Exactly.
It may not be true for anybody else in the world. But if you believe it, it is true. Now, please hear me what I'm about to say and get it in your notes. If you don't believe it, whatever it is, if you don't have faith, if you don't believe it, whatever it is, will be unobservable in your life's experience. What I mean by that is, I know a woman who always says, always, her whole life, men are pigs. Okay? Do you know anybody? You know, okay, men are pigs. And I asked this woman once, I said, all men? And she said, all men. And I was like, but I'm like right here. Like, you know, I can hear you, you know. All men. No exceptions? No exceptions. Huh. Now, with a person who believes that, a good man is the same thing as a unicorn. She can't see a good man even if it's standing in front of her because in her mind they don't exist. So she can't perceive that which does not exist.
Yes. Yes. Wow.
You with me?
Yeah.
She can't perceive it. And even if she can perceive it, it's the picking apart of that human. Not giving that human a chance because of whatever's wrong. Picking something out of it. You know, I'm not letting that up in this. You know, that can't. I didn't mean it like that. I mean up in this, my world. Not letting that in my world. Jeez.
South Florida.
It's unobservable. It's unobservable because you don't believe it. But if you believe it, even if it doesn't exist, I'm telling you, I went into the closet one day because I needed a membership sale at the end of the month. And instead of going, I gotta get it, like that, choking that sale, putting up the barriers so that sale that was already coming to me gets stopped, I went into the closet and I just found this place of peace and love and like, I know it's coming and thank you and it's amazing. And I didn't leave the closet until I knew I had created it. And once I felt this harmonious vibration with that membership that I needed, I walked out of the closet, I opened up my email, and there's an email from a stranger saying, I would like to get legal shield from you. Right? I would like to get legal shield from you. Remember that whole think of in his heart? Watch this. This is a crude example. You're never going to hear this from another seminar in your whole life. You ready? Thought is like sperm. Come on, we're wrong. Yeah? Emotion is like egg. And when you think a thought and you emotionalize it, you have created life. You have conceived energy. Bob Proctor taught me energy, thought, and spirit are synonymous. So in other words, with thought that's been emotionalized, you have created conception. And what do we learn about life that is conceived? It wants to be embodied. It wants to have flesh. These thoughts, when you create this energetic life with a thought and an emotion, it's like this little spirit going out into the universe looking for what? For whatever it can to be clothed. It wants to be clothed. It wants to have flesh wrapped around it. Let me give you an example from Scripture. Jesus walking down the street, right? Walking down the street, he sees this man possessed of many devils or spirits or energies. Yes? And they say, recognizing who he is, hey, Jesus, Son of God, what do we have to do with you? And he says, come out of the man. And they're like, hey, suffer us to go into the body of the pig. Now, what were pigs thought of in that culture? Unclean? Okay? What in the world would these little spirits want to get into the body of the pig? And here's the answer, because all spirit desires flesh. All spirit desires flesh. And when you think a thought and you emotionalize it, you create a little spirit, and that little spirit's going around the world looking to be embodied. I know that's heavy and that may be weird, but if you get that, your life will never be the same. Because you are a conscious creator. Most of us are unconscious creators. We are unconsciously creating devastation, debt, despair, despondency, depression. Because we are creators. You don't have to receive this, but you are a child of God, and as such, you are a creator. The challenge is we don't create consciously, we create unconsciously. And we create more of the quagmire that we're trying to get out of. You dig? Because the hardest thing in the world is thinking health when you're in sickness. That's why, where there is no vision, that people perish. Because when you're in the quagmire of ill health, you've got to have vision to elevate yourself out of it. It's the hardest thing in the world to think abundance when you're in poverty. But that's what makes you human, is the ability to do that. To leave the poverty, at least mentally. Archibald MacLeish said the only thing about a man that is a man is his mind. Everything else can be found in a pig or a horse. You get that? Everything, right? The only thing about a man that is a man is his mind, and every other part can be found in a pig or a horse. Unless we live lives similar to the animals, we must begin utilizing, liberating, harnessing, leveraging our minds. The one thing that differentiates us from the animals. And it's these beliefs that will set you free. I'm sorry, y'all. I didn't mean to take you to church. But look. Some of y'all don't like this one. I'm sorry, and I'll do better next time. Listen, y'all. Look. Here's the thing. If there's anybody in the room that's like, I want to leave. I've been wanting to leave this whole time. I should have left. If there's anybody who feels like this, look, when they asked me to come to do this event, I came with one goal, to cause you to think. That's it. That was my goal. My goal is to cause you to think. Because I don't need you to agree with me. What do I know? Who am I? beliefs, right? This is a man's world. You know, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Money don't grow on trees. You want something done right, you got to do it yourself. We're all raised with these negative, limiting beliefs that are just simply not true. If you want something done right, you got to do it yourself. That sounds like somebody who doesn't want you to be free. Because how are you ever going to be free if you got to do it all? You can't teach old dogs new tricks. That's bull. You can teach anybody anything, anytime. You know what that is? When I hear older people say that, that's just an excuse for them to be lazy. It is. I mean, with love, I love on them, but that's like, what are you talking about? You know, well, I'm 71. You know, how long did it take you to go to executive director? Well, that doesn't even matter. It's not about me, it's about you. Yeah, but I'm 71. What does that even mean? Well, you're young and ambitious. Well, you're 71 and ambitious. You're in the business. Congratulations. Look, if it takes you 5 years to go executive director, how old are you going to be? 76. If you don't do Legal Shield and in 5 years, how old are you going to be? You want to be 76, not paying your bills, or 76 and paying your bills? I mean, come on. Yeah, but it's easier for y'all young whippersnappers to pick this stuff up. Says who? That's the devil talking. Don't listen to that nonsense. That's the dumbest thing that's ever fallen out of your face. Yes or no? With love. With love. Number 7, unconditional love. Okay? So these beliefs are what's affecting us. If I believe this is a man's world, I'm not going to do the work as a woman to get the results. I'm not going to do the actions that I need to get the results that's going to give me the lifestyle. Because it's a man's world. You with me? Yeah. So the question is, where do we get these beliefs that are holding us hostage?
Them. Parents.
Okay. It's the system. Boom. They did it. Now, by the way, forgive them. So, where do we get these beliefs? From what I call the 3 E's. Environment, education, experience. That's where we got it. In other words, society, public school, mama, our village, our tribe, our people, our friends, education, experience, environment. So if that's what gave us broken beliefs, how can we get fixed beliefs? How can we get good beliefs? How can we get beliefs that work, that are like rocket fuel on our desires? Through education, environment, and experience. We're going to rewrite this whole deal. We're going to reject what they gave us. See, there's a reason why it says, don't feed the bears. Why? Number 1, because bears can kill you. Number 2, because if you feed mama bear and daddy bear and they have a cub, the cub never learned how to hunt. In America, welfare recipients are typically 2nd and 3rd generation welfare recipients. In other words, we fed mama and daddy, and they had a cub, and the cub never had to learn to hunt. Because this magic food kept showing up. You know why we make you pay for these events? Because if somebody's giving you, if they are spoon feeding you, be suspect. I'm not saying it's bad or good, but look carefully. So we're going to work on these 3 E's. What does that look like? Do most people live life by design or by default? By default. What education did we take as children? The one they gave us. Yeah, the one they gave us. So we know the results that we now have from what they gave us. So now, if we're going to change that and live a better life and become more free and healthy and happy and loving and kind and compassionate, we're going to do that by purposefully, not by default, by purposefully finding new experiences, new education, and new environments, yes? Now, the reason why I gave the weirdest training you've ever heard in Legal Shield is because I wanted to give you a unique experience. I wanted to give you a unique education. And I wanted to create for you a unique environment. You see that? Because it's in here today that for many of you, there was a shift. Yes? There was a shift for many of you. Maybe not I didn't get y'all. I tried. But you can't get them all. And I'm okay with that. There was a shift. We already undid so much damage. We already unwired a bunch of that stuff. Because you're still going to be controlled by it. You're going to do things, you're going to self-sabotage. Your eyes have been opened. You're not healed. You with me? We've got to deprogram. We've got to pull out the wires and the controls and the chains. And how do we do that? Number one, we're going to read good books every day, 10 pages every day. Because how often are we working on our freedom, y'all? Every day. And how are we working on it? Passionately? Yes. Not passively. Passionate, man. I got to get out of here. Y'all know there's stories of slaves taking off all their toes with a shovel. Thinking it would get them out of the work. Thinking that now they're going to treat me like a human if I can just chop off my toes. And it didn't work. Same results, no toes. They would do anything to get off the plantation. And what do we do at the end of the night? While we're enslaved, double tap, scroll, like, comment, double tap. Y'all know what I'm talking about? Instagram. By the way, y'all, social media was not created to connect the world. Social media, by their own admission, was created to capture your consciousness. That's why social media was created. Now, I use social media. I harness it, I leverage it. But I know what it is. And it's not to connect the world. It's to capture consciousness. We've become addicted. Dopamine release. Every time we put out a message and somebody likes it, chemically there's a release in the brain that makes our whole body feel good. And we go into this bliss state. It's like, bing, 7 likes in 8 seconds. This is my best post ever, man. We're crackheads. We are. It's not a joke. How many pages are we reading? 10. How often?
Every night.
What kind of books? We're not reading the Fabio books. Y'all know Fabio? The guy with the hair and the chest? And he has that lady with no clothes on? You know what I'm talking about? Fabio? My mom, I am dating myself, thank you. It's like he was hot like 30 years ago, I think. Now he's on a bus to Las Vegas. With love. We gotta hurry. We gotta go. We're late. All right, number 2. We gotta give you the recipe. Okay, we gotta give you the recipe. By the way, write this in your notes. If you can read, but you don't read, you are a volunteer illiterate. If you can, but you don't, you volunteered to be illiterate. Because if you can read and you don't read, you are no better off than he or she who doesn't. So number 2, you're going to listen. I've always taught 1 CD a day. We don't have CDs so much anymore. How long is a CD? 9 minutes. Okay. I'd say about 45 minutes. Listen to something positive. By the way, let me give you something positive to listen to for free. I'm not even going to charge you. Core training. Okay, you know my railroad, right? The Above Ground Railroad? That's a podcast on Google Play Music or the podcast app on Apple. It's free. If you go to your app store now we're talking apps. We're not talking about podcasts, now we're talking apps. If you go to the app store, and you search Core Training Hughes, there is a 5-hour live seminar that I gave in Alabama with Kevin Muller recently and Alex Sheedy. and it's how to build Legal Shield. Today we talked about our mind and freedom and all that. If you want to learn, go deep on Legal Shield, it's a 5-hour audio training. It's built into the mobile app, and it's free. You just download it and listen. Okay, so get that. Core Training Hughes. And my newest book is also available in there as well. So we're listening. How long a day? About, what? 45 minutes. Number 3, we are attending seminars. Are you on a seminar right now?
Yes.
Yep. You want to attend a seminar at least every 90 days. Well, we have Super Saturdays every month. You want to go to those. But I want to challenge you to find Tony Robbins. Find Les Brown. Find Jack Canfield. Find Mark Victor Hansen. Find some of these people that are motivating and inspiring and educating, and go to these seminars. By the way, let's talk Legal Shield for just a minute. Do y'all know who goes to these motivational seminars? Really successful people who know lots of other people. You know who else goes to these seminars? People that want to be more positive. They want to be more personally developed. They want to be a better person, a better spouse, a better friend, a better business person. They're great places to meet other humans. The kind of humans that we want. Why? Because they're already dialed into personal development, which is the secret sauce. Okay? So every 90 days, you're going to go to a seminar. Number 4, you're going to associate. You're going to associate with people who have what you want, people that are loving and kind and compassionate, people that are successful, people that are goal-oriented, people that'll love on you, whether you're winning or losing. They're going to love on you. Associate with these kind of people. And you want to disassociate with people that are negative and toxic and caustic and unsupportive. People that tell you you can't, you're not good enough, big enough, fast enough, strong enough, these things never work, they're going to take all your money, blah, 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 blah. You got to disassociate with those people. I tell this quick story and we're going to wrap up. A woman said to me after a seminar, I told that story earlier, I got this big group of people, I trained for 2 hours on these concepts. I focused in on associating and disassociating. And I talked about how many of y'all know these people, you can do 90% right, but there's that person in your life, they can't even acknowledge 90%. All they can talk about is the 10% that you messed up on. And and everybody in the audience is like, oh yeah, I know that person, and we're talking, and then after the event, there's a circle of people, and we're chit-chatting, and we're taking pictures with each other and everything. And this woman breaks through the circle, and she gives me this piece of paper. And she looked kind of crazy. And I said, I looked at her, and she was like, get it, So I got it. And I looked at it, and I looked at her like, what am I supposed to do with this, And she's like, you want me to read it? Oh my gosh. And it says, Chris, look up disassociate in the dictionary. And I didn't even know what to do with this. So I looked at her and I said, thank you. Yeah? No? I didn't know what to say. She was like, have you? And there's a bunch of people watching this. And I said, have I what? Have you looked it up? And I'm like, I don't know that you haven't because it's not in there. And you said it like 5 or 6 times in your seminar. And realizing I'm being watched, and I'm the speaker, and I need to be exemplary. So I said to her, wow, I thank you so much for serving me in this way. I really appreciate that. She says, you're welcome. And I wanted, excuse me everybody, I get my phone out and I go to dictionary.com, it's on my homepage, and I look up disassociate, there it is. In all of its splendid glory. And I was like, where's that lady? And I wanted to tell her, man, things have changed since 1984. Like, I don't know if you realize this, but Webster adds words every year. Every year. So maybe you should get out of the time capsule. Just kidding. I would never, ever say anything like that. But I wanted to say to her, I know you were in the building, but you missed the seminar. Because I was talking about you. I mean, I would never say this to a human, right? But it's like, I was talking about that person who misses all the good that you do. And they just want to stab you in that one place that's already weak. And she was wrong. Here's a good one for your notes. Arrogance and ignorance have a tendency to travel together.
Yes, they do.
Is anybody recording this, by the way? It's okay if you are. Will you all connect with me because there was something that I said that I wanted to take a note of that I don't remember. So will you all get with me? Somebody taught me this, really interesting. You know when you have, there's two ways of saying this. You know when you have spoken by the power of God, or you know when you have channeled something because you learned by what you said. Mm-hmm. And there's so many times where, some of y'all have had this experience when you're in front of a room, it's like, that was a gift. Right? That was given. And there was something that I need to extract from there. So associate, disassociate. And here's the thing, y'all, with this lady, here's the natural. Here's what we want to do. We want to wrestle her down. Don't we? I mean, we want to be like, you bruised my ego. Yes, come on. DDT! We want to pile drive her. But it's like, that's why number 7, unconditional love, is so important, because it's like, we are these emotional beings, and we're drawing stuff into us. There's this dance, right, in the universe. And when you get vibrationally, emotionally aligned to things start coming into your life that are just amazing, right? It's like you just vibing with life so much. But when these people come into your world, they're a test for you. It wasn't about words. It wasn't about my ego or hers. It was just a test to see if she could throw me off my vibe, right? And I don't want more of her in my world. So I didn't let her. Most people and then finally, assimilate. We've got to go. It's 8:30. Assimilate, meaning put it into practice. And write this in your notes. You'll remember the story. You don't need to write the story down. Just write this part down. Don't be a Robin. R-O-B-I-N. Don't be a Robin. What do I mean by that? Robin, I met Robin. He was a security guard for the graveyard shift in Park City, Utah. He sat in a parking lot from 12 to 8 in a little bitty car with a golf cart with a little light on top. And he made $10 an hour. 40 years old, $10 an hour, 12 to 8. I recruited him in the Legal Shield, and I can tell he needs some personal development. He's a nice person, but he really needs some personal development. So I say, I would recommend a book for you. If I recommend a book, would you read it? And he said, sure, I would. And I said, it's called Think and Grow, and he cuts me off. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. I love that book. I read it in college. And I was confused because when I read the book, I multiplied my income dozens and dozens and dozens of times. See, in the book it says that when you get this stuff, riches will begin to come. And when riches begin to come, they will come so quickly and with such great abundance that you'll wonder where they've been hiding during all the lean years. And so when I read that, I had faith to believe. The seed was planted, I nurtured the seed, and it started to grow, and my income expanded and expanded and expanded. Well, Robin read it 20 years earlier, and his life has never quite worked. And so what I mean by that is, don't be a Robin. So what was wrong with Robin? Maybe nothing. We don't know. I'm not judging him, but I'm going to take some guesses. Maybe Robin didn't read the book. Because people lie, yes. I'm not judging him. I don't know. I have to figure this out. How can you read that book and not change your life? Okay? Because success is a refined study of the obvious, yes?
Right. And
if the book promises that you can create wealth, and you read it and things don't change, you have to ask yourself, why didn't things change? So number 1, maybe you didn't read it. Number 2, maybe you read part of it, you didn't finish it. Number 3, maybe you didn't believe what you read. Maybe you believe what you read, but you didn't apply it. Maybe you applied it, but you didn't apply it consistently. Right? Maybe you didn't exercise the faith in the things that you were learning. In the book Science of Getting Rich, it says there is a science to getting rich, and it is an exact science. And if you follow these principles, you will get rich with mathematical certainty. How can you read that book and not get rich with mathematical certainty? You either didn't read the book, you didn't read the whole book, you didn't understand the book, you didn't have faith in the principles, you didn't apply the principles, you didn't apply the principles consistently. Y'all see this? Everybody wants to read. I think we need to read less, study more. Right? Read less, extract more. There's only about 4 or 5 books in the whole world that you need to read to change your whole life. Like Think and Grow Rich. As a man thinketh, you were born rich. The Science of Getting Rich. The Richest Man in Babylon. The Power of the Subconscious Mind. Your spiritual books. You don't need a lot of books. So we're going to assimilate, apply. Now, do you know what I just gave you? This is the recipe for your own freedom. This is your plan for freedom. And there's other things that you need to know. And that's why, like I just did, my episode 10 here is called How Much Is Enough? We need to know how much is enough to get us off the plantation. We need to know how much is enough to buy back our freedom from the bank. We need to know how much is enough passive income from Legal Shield to where we don't have to work for another man or another woman anymore. We need to know that number. See, Zig Ziglar taught that most people, most humans are like wandering generalities. Going nowhere slow. Why? Because we don't know that number. We don't craft our lives. We let life happen. So, how passionately are we involved in this? Get this in your notes, please. It's later than you think. I hope that I don't offend someone. I don't know that she's here. I'm going to take the liberty. Now, it's a serious topic. There was a woman here with a wonderful attitude, delightful. She was here and she was participating with us until the break. And we saw her mourning outside. She was crying unconsolably. Is she here? Okay. I don't see her. One of her students was killed. And we don't know what tomorrow brings. That's why today needs to be full of love. Yes? Yes. Full of love and full of learning and full of laughter. And be thinking about legacy. I'll never forget, my dad's at church. Somebody says, "How's Tony doing?" My big brother, "Oh, he's doing great." "How's Jeff?" "Oh, he's doing great." "How's Mike and David?" "They're becoming doctors." "How's Chris doing?" You know. He's working at the Chili's. But he's good. I mean, you ought to go sit in a section sometime. And you know what I thought? What if I dropped dead right now? Is that my legacy? You ought to go sit in his section. They got good guacamole. That's my legacy? Really? God made all this? He gave me these fingerprints. Mine are unlike any in the world. Yours are unlike any in the world. You want to know why I did that? It's not for the FBI. It's a love letter. It's coded. It says, "I love you, and I made you." And when I say you, I mean you, because there's not another one remotely close to you. You are it. This is it. You're it. You're it. We don't know what tomorrow brings. If you really truly thought that your daddy or mother, however you want to look at this, that your daddy was the creator of all things, like if you really at a cellular level, an emotional level, you believe that, don't you think you'd be a rock star? I mean, it's crazy. I go to church and you see people like, you know what I mean? I mean, they're in it, man. They are. And you see sometimes they get that tap going. You know what I'm talking about? They get it going. And sometimes they got a tambourine. You see it?
Yeah.
And they are broke. No disrespect. You can be broke and wonderful. Yes? Yep. But I think it's so weird because the sermon was about wealth. The sermon was about how it said that Abraham was rich, and Solomon, and so many of these people that were God's homies were rich. And the preacher was trying to tell us that if we really believed whose we are, we would have overflow in our lives. And everybody's all like this. And it's like, do you really, like, what is that? How many decades do we go to church and can't pay the light bill? You know what I'm saying? And it's not to say that God's people don't struggle, because we need to struggle for the character development. But we should not struggle indefinitely. So, we need to be done